NFL Week 16. We're talking primetime Sunday night, Monday night football games, the most important games of the week, games that decide if you're up or down, sending or receiving money. Hopefully, I can help point you in the right direction so we can collect this week. Let's start with the Sunday night game, Tampa Bay, Dallas. I have bets every which way on this game. Now, I talked a couple weeks ago about how the Buffalo Bills offense deserves a bump up when they go and play indoors. Tampa Bay Bucs, very similar. As good as both the Bills and Bucs are offensively, where they play most of their games suppresses their offense. The Bucs play in sunny Florida, yes, but it's outdoors. Oftentimes there's rain before the game or during the game, and there's double-digit winds. Or in general, it's less than ideal scoring conditions, unlike an indoor stadium where it's a controlled environment. Good offenses just become better and faster indoors. Since 2019, games where Tampa Bay has played indoors, the over has a 65% win rate. Bucs games played indoors this season have all gone over, besides the first one, I think, in week 2 in Detroit, I believe. But that was when the Bucs were still implementing their new offense. When this Bucs team gets indoors, these games aren't just going over, but they're putting up huge numbers, both yards and points. Last week's game against the Chargers in SoFi Stadium, Bucs accounted for 40 of the 57 points scored. Back in October, 78 points in New Orleans and 66 points in Atlanta. So I think we see some points scored in this one. So I have a bet on the over 48 and the over first half 23.5. I already think the Bucs offense is underrated as it is. Look at this year's EPA per drive numbers. Tampa Bay's right up there with other offenses, and these are offenses that many consider elite. I don't know if there's like some Baker Mayfield hate or what, but I do have some concerns about Dallas scoring, though, because Dallas is going to need to run the ball and keep Cooper Rush out of obvious passing downs. But I'm not sure Dallas is going to be able to establish the run. I want to isolate Tampa Bay here as much as I can, so I also bet Tampa Bay over 12.5 first half team total points. I feel good about Tampa Bay being able to score, but I really hope Dallas can put up some points themselves. If they can't and Dallas gets blanked, I also bet Tampa Bay -4, which I had a very easy decision to make with betting Tampa Bay. Based on my power ratings, I have Tampa Bay 8.3 points better than Dallas if this game was played on a neutral field, which of course it's not. It's in Dallas, so given Dallas 1 point for home field advantage, I still have Tampa Bay favorites of 7.3, and the sports books have Tampa Bay -4, which means I show a 3.3 point edge. Normally, a 1 point edge is good enough to bet. 3.3 points is the biggest edge I've had on any game this season. But betting Tampa Bay -4 is also kind of working as a semi-hedge in a way to my over bets. If Dallas struggles to score, which is a strong possibility, this Bucs defense has been extremely aggressive recently. Over the course of the past 4 weeks, this Todd Bowles defense has been blitzing at an insane rate of 65%. This has resulted in the Bucs having the highest havoc rate and the highest quick pressure rate. So let's really recap right here all these bets. I have 4 bets total on this game, over 48 in the full game. Then I got over first half 23.5. I have Bucs first half team total over 12.5, and then finally Bucs -4. Worst possible game script would be Tampa Bay not scoring. As long as they do their thing, we should be good with these bets and end up all right. All right, let's move on to Monday Night Football. We got Saints-Packers here. You just heard me refer to my numbers. If you've watched any of my game previews before, you've heard me refer to my ratings, my number. So I want to go through the steps of how I come up with my number using this game as an example. Each week I create my own spreads for the game. I do this by creating a power rating for each team, and then you can convert those ratings into a point spread. I post all this in a downloadable link inside the Discord each week and explain how to use them so members can make their own copy and even adjust them as they see fit. But my numbers are my starting point to my game selection process. It's typically the first step that points me in the direction to then dig deeper to find a reason to bet. I use about 15 different advanced metrics in order to come up with a single value for each team or a power rating for each team. It's 9 defensive metrics and 6 offensive metrics. There's no opinion involved in this stage of the process. The numbers just tell the story. There are factors that you can't even quantify when rating a team. It's very difficult to give teams an accurate power rating when you have differing motivations or teams with cluster injuries or several key players not playing. Like for the Saints, I have them 5.8 points worse than a league average team. That number is already adjusted for the backup quarterback Spencer Rattler, who I assume will start at quarterback. I feel confident about my rating with him at quarterback because we do have a sample size we can look back on in his previous start. But where it gets tricky is when you start adding multiple key players like Alvin Kamara, who's dealing with a groin injury and was ruled out. This means the Saints need another adjustment down. His backup, Kendre Miller, isn't bad, but he's not as dynamic as Kamara. I'd say a 1 point adjustment down for the Saints being without Kamara is about right. So now they're 6.8 points worse than a league average team, which now is getting into the worst team in the league territory here for the Saints. For Green Bay, based on all the metrics I think are important when measuring a team's ability, I have them rated 6.1 points better than league average. We add the Saints rating and the Packers rating together. I'm at Green Bay favorites of about 12 points. 13 points without Kamara, who was just actually ruled out before I started recording here. So Green Bay, 13-point favorites, but that's not adjusted for home field advantage. On average, most teams get about 1 point for home field advantage. It's gone down in recent years. Home field advantage used to be worth more, but 2 points is about the most I would give any team. And that's in a situation where the Dolphins are playing in like freezing temperatures, or like when you have a dome team playing outdoors in the cold weather with possible snow, like something we have here with this game. So we're at 13 points now. Now with the home field advantage bump, we easily get to this number around 14 or maybe 15 for Green Bay. So I do show a little value on the Packers here, but it's not a big enough edge to just auto bet it like Tampa Bay was. Plus, my number isn't the end-all, be-all number. I still want to factor other things in here, like it's a really tough scheduling spot here for the Packers. This is Green Bay's third straight standalone primetime game. 2 weeks ago, they played in Detroit on Thursday Night Football. Lions won on the final play of the game in a close, hard-fought game. Last week on Sunday Night Football, they traveled to the Northwest, to Seattle, where they did take care of business. Now at home, Monday Night Football against the Saints, an opponent they could easily be looking past, especially with a big divisional game on deck against Minnesota, a game that will basically decide their seeding in the playoffs. This is a classic letdown, look-ahead spot here for Green Bay. There's no way I could bet a 14-point favorite in this spot. Even with some of the on-field matchups that heavily favor Green Bay here, when you think about the current Saints team and where they struggle the most, they struggle in a lot of areas, but defending the run is definitely up there. They're ranked bottom 3 in basically every meaningful metric stopping the run. And where have the Packers had a lot of their offensive success this year? Running the ball. Josh Jacobs has been a beast. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur has been probably the best at scheming up like solid run-heavy game plans week to week. But when laying double digits in the NFL, especially 2 touchdowns, you want everything to align, and I just think this is a potential flat spot here for the Packers with them looking ahead to next week. Of course, I think Green Bay will win. I can't see a quarterback like Spencer Rattler go on the road in Lambeau in late December, where it might be his first game in snow or in this cold of temperatures, and pull off a win. I definitely can't in my right mind tell anyone to bet the Saints, even at plus 2 TDs. So my best bet for this game is to simply pass. I know it's boring, but sometimes the best bet is just to pass. And this might sound crazy to some of you, but you don't have to bet the game just because it's a Monday Night Football game. That's what the bookies hope you do. They want you betting as much as possible. The more volume, the more handle. The more handle, the more they hold. It's that simple. Every bet should be looked at like a financial investment. After all, it costs us money to place a bet. We're risking $11 to win 10. I say it all the time. And I challenge some of you that are watching this, if you can even do this and not bet the Monday Night Football game, leave a comment if you're able to pass on a primetime game, or tell me there's no chance of doing that. That's all I got for this one. Until next time, good luck with your bets.